Well, good morning, students and the rest of the world. This is live on YouTube. Anybody could be watching this, people from all parts of the world, and we have had that before. And so they might be watching it right now live. Other people will certainly, I can assure you and promise you that this will be on YouTube right after this, and people will be watching this for a long, long time. When I go back and look at how many views graduations from last year were at this time, people continue to watch those graduations. So I think this is, and it's worth celebrating and remembering. And in the future, hopefully, when you have certain kind of emotions, that you might want to go back and remember this day. So I think it's important that we record these important moments, and this is a milestone moment at Larson Training Center. So considering that this is partially being prepared for posterity, I feel compelled to talk a little bit about the history of the school because it is noteworthy. And that is that the school was founded in 1989 by a man named Dale Larson in California. And Dale Larson kind of had this mission, this passion, and he summarized it and articulated it that I want all kids to be able to have tennis shoes. I want their parents to be able to have employment so they can buy their kids tennis shoes. And for many years at Larson, on the counter when people walked in, on all of the 4 campuses they had in LA, there would be a pair of tennis shoes there, sneakers they called them back then, to remind them of what their mission was, is to help adults get stable and meaningful employment so that their kids could have shoes. And now 25 years later, 26 years later now, it's somewhat ironic or fulfilling that the school here happens to be in a facility called the Learning Village that is owned by the largest shoe company in the world, the most cutting edge shoe company in the world. So, and that's Zappos. So we have Tony Hsieh, actually, he's the owner, but he's the president, CEO, and the founder of Zappos. So I think it's kind of fitting in proper and a little bit noteworthy that 25 years ago, the school was started for the purpose of people having sneakers, having tennis shoes. And today we are supported by a tennis shoe seller company that sells tennis shoes that believes that education is important for adults, and they do a lot of things to help us. So, that's the starting point. We have our school shield has on it a object that is called a gladius, and this is a scale model, actual weight of a Roman gladius. So I'm going to pass it around. Hold it up for the camera. I'm going to pass it around. That's the shape and dimensions of a gladius, except the gladius came to a very sharp point. And that gladius is not a really exciting, inspiring weapon, right? It's not a menacing weapon. It's not like you see in horror movies or Conan the Barbarian type movies. That's a pretty simple device. But that device in the right hands enabled the Romans to shape the world, bring culture to the world, and make the world a better place. And for 2,000 years, Rome was the dominant power in the world. And to a large extent, much of our customs and much of the things that we do, our institutions are based upon Rome. And they did it because they had the gladius. That was the simple device. The gladius is a device that is easy to use. It takes practice to master. But when you practice it and when you master the gladius, everything is possible if you work together with other people. And so that device is not a hacking weapon, that is a striking weapon. And if you notice that at its widest point, it's about 3.5 inches. In a real gladius, at the point, it's a sharp point. It's a sharp point. So that means if you're thrusting it, it goes in pretty easy and it makes a pretty big wound shortly thereafter. But it's a close contact weapon. This isn't a faraway weapon. It's not, you're going to have to get close to your opponent and you have to do it. And it's fitting, and so here's our shield, and it's fitting that that is the gladius is it, because we do the same thing here. Our education is based upon mastering the simple things, like typing. And once you can master typing, then possibilities are endless. You do have the ability to shape the world around you if you can type. Because once you can type, then you can go to the next thing and learn Microsoft Office or Office applications, and you can learn the cloud. But we all know now, based upon after having done 16 weeks of typing, if you can't type, you really can't go to the next level of using the cloud to do things, to change things, to improve your life and help other people do that. So that is our thing. And as I said, Rome was the dominant player in the world for 2,000 years. The city of Rome was founded in about 753 BC. And Rome, the Eastern Empire of Rome, Constantinople, fell in the 14th century, 15th century, actually. So that was over 2,200 years that the Roman system was in place. So having said that, that's the foundation of what we do, and that's the foundation of our education here. And we know that from this point forward, your skills in typing, in Office, in the cloud, will only continue to get better. Even if you don't do it, there will be much that you will remember. So having said that, now the introduction's done, we'll move to part 2 and start talking about some of our, introducing some of our graduates. And I think it's fitting to start with Phyllis. Phyllis came to us from Hope for Prisoners, and Hope for Prisoners, like Hero School and other agencies, is very important to us because if you don't believe you can succeed, you can't succeed. We can't start with people who say, you can't force me to learn, right? And Hero School, Hope for Prisoners, they do the important thing of getting people to believe that the past doesn't have to be the future, right? It's not this, right? It's this.
Behind you.
Right. It's kind of fun.
No, it's not.
If you've been to Heroes Hope for Prisoners, you know what that means. But so Phyllis came to us from Hope for Prisoners, and has been helpful as much as anybody could be. We didn't have any problems with Phyllis. Now Phyllis is an instructor's aide here, as you all know, but this is for posterity. So Phyllis is an instructor's aide. Our director in California, Rose, was a student 20 years ago at the school. She's been with the school for 20 years. So there's the opportunity and possibility that Phyllis and perhaps many other people here will be with the school 20 years from now. But Phyllis has done a very good job in all of the things that she's done. Plus Phyllis, even before she graduated, adopted our Navy SEALs approach of learn one, do one, teach one, and was always somebody who would help other people, even when she was a student. Even if she didn't really know, Phyllis would always lend a hand and help out. So Phyllis, why don't you come over here, please, so we can, might have to figure out how to do this. And so this is your diploma, your certificates, and you have many certificates. So you'll be getting them for, my header's not on here, but you'll be getting them for your typing, for Office, for Google Apps, for the cloud, and projects that you're working on. So you'll be getting about 4 or 5 certificates. and you've been a great asset to the school. So thank you, Phyllis. Why don't you feel free to say something about what the school meant to you.
The school helped me push past my hardships and my disappointments, and really helped me to learn that there's hope for my future. I'm thankful for a second chance to get my life back together, and I'm happy where I'm at now. So thank you.
Okay, now what about your vivid vision? Does this fit into that?
I can start my business now, so I can promote it. I can do everything I need to. I don't need help from anyone.
Good.
So I can do it all on my own.
Okay, thank you, Phyllis. Okay, Don Sleeth. So what can I say about Dawn? Many things, right? Many things. One of which is, I think, probably with many other people, Dawn has been very diligent. Once he learned Google+, been very diligent at posting ads, or not ads, but stories that are compelling and interesting. Yes. So, and I think we can all say that it gets you to think because you see the world in a different way. What I can say about Dawn as a student is that Dawn was somebody who was there doing their job, doing, I think, the best that you could do under the circumstances and given the outside influences that we deal with. Dawn contributed very well on TED Talks and other discussions that we had. When guests would come in and speak to us, I could count on Dawn talking about his experiences in life or asking relevant questions to people. Certainly, like Phyllis and like many other people, Dawn has made the school a better place. We have learned from Dawn also. And so, Dawn, thank you.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
And so now you help posterity.
Well, I'm not much of a fluffer nutter, but I have learned a great deal in this class. It has really brought me out of my shell. The world tends to shove us into a shell. And I've got a comment, since we've got this new facility, it is just, I can just see it expanding and growing. Now that we're going to be doing a newsletter, you guys haven't got any idea what's going to happen with that newsletter. It's going to be really big. Thank you, Ed. You've been an awesome director. And thank you, Sherry, as well.
Okay, good. Thank you, Don. All right. This is for Dawn. Okay, so I think we should call up Dave Sweetland.
Oh, he's going to torture us. Oh, no.
So, Dave, here, why don't you get, yeah, good. So, Dave, I'll give you your cue. Dave, we met Dave maybe 2 months before Dave started from Meredith Spriggs, the downtown project. And we wanted Dave to come aboard because Dave had an education, is educated, and also was an educator. And, once again, our thing is we want to help people become autodidactic, and we also want people to help us make the school better. And we all know that Dave contributed a lot to discussions, or I should say a lot of the time to discussions. Dave has had a unique perspective. He's always very open about his past and the challenges and things that he overcame. The school is definitely better because of Dave. We hope you're going to continue to come back. And we have an opportunity with Tony Shea to have a convert one of his motels into a dormitory for students. And one of the things we want to talk to Dave about is for Dave being the resident assistant there, making sure the resident manager, making sure that that school, that dormitory becomes a place of learning. It's an environment where people can come back after school, study, get in groups, just as if it was at Stanford. So that's our goal. Dave, you've been a value and an inspiration to the school, and I hope that with you and Meredith, we can bring in more people from that group. So thank you very much for being here. Now it's up to you.
Hi, world. Wherever you are.
Hi, Dave.
When I came in, as Ed had mentioned, 10 weeks, 11 weeks ago? 16,
Well, more
holy
like 20.
moly. Jeez Louise. I was a drunk off the street of Las Vegas Boulevard, living right around the corner from Fremont, which is kind of it's an ecotone. It's an agora, a Latin or a ancient Greek word for the marketplace. Everybody and anybody can be on the Fremont, including Joe Walsh of the Eagles, who I've met there many times. I was a drunk. I got rescued, as Director Ed mentioned, by a gal named Meredith Spriggs, who was working for the Downtown Rangers. 3 Metro police officers weren't out there to give me a ticket or to run me or to throw me in jail or the next psych ward. They were out there to make sure I was still alive. And I'm very grateful to them. There was a gal, who is my case manager at West Care Drug and Alcohol Treatment Center. And she had her eyes on me. I'd been there about 12 times in 2 years. And on about trip 8, I knew that I was killing myself and I wanted help. She didn't have any beds available, Luana Calhoun, at West Care. No beds available, trip 8. No beds in the long term, bed 9. I went right back out to using again. Trip 10, no beds available. I went right smack dab back to my people, places, and things. What I knew, what I felt comfortable with. Trip 11, she said, Dave, this must be your lucky day. That was 10 months ago. And I've been clean and sober for 10 months now, and I don't plan on going back to my hurricane beer. That's what I like to drink because my life was a hurricane. It was a storm. And this is my music maker, my little ukulele. I got this from the Cali Music Company. I wrote him a little email because the office of Marilyn Spriggs, the Downtown Rangers, they've got a lot of ukuleles in there. Most of them are made by Cala. Excuse me. I wrote him a letter. I said what I was like as a drunk, beard out to here, hair greased and out to here, smelling like, well, I'll let you imagine that. What I was like, what happened, and what I'm like now. We gave the Cala Music Company a before and after picture of me. They sent me this as a gift. It's my ukulele. I suppose in closing, since we are Larson, we are Virtus Fides Gravitas, the Machara or Gladius. I'll close with this. Illegitimus non carborundum. It's Latin for don't let the bastards win.
All right. Great, Dave. Thank you. See what we're going to miss, world? But we have bread. Okay, Norm. Norm Parrish. Congratulations, Norm. Glad that you're here. So Norm was one of the first people who came to us, one of the first veterans who came to us because of another veteran who couldn't make it. Who was that? Jesse. Jesse was had a big heart, had a big desire, was really behind the school, was a great person to get, I think, all of our other vets here, but it was just a little bit too much for Jesse at the time. And I think you, Norm, were the second guy, right? Or was it William? Or were you guys right at the
Pretty
same
much
time?
the same.
Okay.
Close.
So Jesse brought you two in, and Norm was always trying, giving it the go. You finished, Coursera? Okay. So we have, a great distinction here that two of our students actually finished a 16-week course at Columbia University that was taught by Professor Jeffrey Sachs. And Norm was one of them, and he sat very close to me. I started it. I couldn't finish because it was just too much work. And I have a law degree, so a lot of credit goes to Norm, and then we'll talk about William later for actually getting it done. Jeffrey Sachs is a world famous professor currently at Columbia. Norm stuck with it, got it done. Many times, I thought this is the end of the computer that Norm was at. Being able to handle frustrations is one of the things that we do here. We start with frustrations, and it's not, can you not get frustrated? Really, good employees are people who, when they get frustrated, can go beyond that frustration and not let it control them. And so what we noticed over the period of time is that though it would seem to come in waves with you, Norm, that the waves got smaller and better. And I think part of one of the things that Norm did to make the school a better place was, we would have a couple instances where we were thrown back into, what do we do now, right? You know what I'm talking about? And the good thing is everybody was able to work through it. It's not always the best thing to say, that's not an issue, I'm going to pretend it doesn't exist. Sometimes the best thing to do is work through it. And, as part of that, when I went to law school, that's when the big movement in mediation came along. Instead of litigation or fighting with one side against the other, mediation was the attempt to find common ground, a solution that was acceptable to both. And so, Norm gave the school the opportunity to do that, to move forward from these instances. And, I don't, as you know, I don't try to stop those things. I don't step in. I just kind of, and I don't want to make it bigger than it was, because it wasn't a big thing at all. But that's because our people worked through it. Norm did. And, we have hopes for Norm and hope that you come in here and work with us. We had, you missed the other day that we had, because of Keith, a door open to an employer called what? Fifth Avenue Restaurant Group, that has 900 employees. They own 50 restaurants in town, 900 employees, and they have all kinds of jobs, driving jobs, working in their place jobs, marketing jobs. And our goal is to, okay. Our job is to get them to hire all of our graduates, that they will say, somebody graduates from here, we guarantee you we will hire them. And so, having things where we have issues with each other, as we're doing the Navy SEAL learn one, do one, teach one approach, it helps us be able to become better employees, because we don't let outside things control us. We control the outside things as best we can. So, Norm, thank you very much. You also made the school a better place with your presence here.
Well, I'd just like to say that before I came to Larson, I was at USA Help. And I was at the point where life was just kind of boring, just kind of nothing was happening. And there was no way I saw to get out of it. But when I met Jesse and I came down here and I saw what the school was doing, I said, I'd really like to do that. So from a state of like depression into a state of being somebody. I think that was what part of the transformation that I made from there to here. Kind of nervous but I think USA helped because they gave you a steady place to live. It was a little rough at the beginning coming here, but it worked out. And I really enjoyed most of all the history we learned from the Romans. You know, I mean, like the director shared with us how Marcus Aurelius was a Stoic. And his attitudes was, well, if you can't do anything about it, why complain about it? But I had a while to catch on to that one. And I don't know if I still have completely, but I'm working on it.
Good.
So just to say what I've learned here, I know I can put to use. And I've been putting job apps out now, and nothing's really coming back. There's a couple places. But I would like to come back and really take advantage of what's going on. So I'm not giving up, and that's part of the Stoic view is everything will work out if you put your effort into it. And I think that's one of the lessons I've learned here is don't give up when it gets tough. Just keep going. And keep doing the next right thing, and everything will come across to where you want it to be. Might take a while, might not take a while. Who knows? But thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Norman. Thank you. So I also want to acknowledge the Genesis. I can't ever get the name right. What's the Help Genesis? Help Genesis. Not only do they provide a place for shelter and the basic necessities of life, they also provided transportation for our students to come here. And that's a big deal because there's other places, and I don't want to say anything negative about Catholic Industries, so I'm not going to say anything negative about Catholic Industries, but not having to take all of your possessions with you every day in order to come to school is a great thing that you do. Not having to walk a mile and a half in either burning heat in the afternoon or freezing cold or rain is a great service that you provided with the transportation. Not saying to people, you have to be back here at a certain time and line up to get a bed because we won't even save a bed for you. And I'm not saying anything negative about Catholic Industries.
Please do.
So that is a tremendous thing because the hardest thing about this school is, for many people, is getting to the school. And if you have to worry about where you're going to sleep, where you're going to eat, or you have to deal with the heat and you're carrying all of your possessions on your back or on your arms every day, it's tough to do. So thank you very much for all of the assistance that you give them and the school, enabling them to come here. So I think that Ray.
Yes.
So Ray is actually not graduating this week. He missed it by half an hour because he came in late Monday morning.
Oh, okay.
So the good news is Ray's in school for another week.
Okay.
And then we want to help Ray, like all other students from Casa Grande, to provide internship things so they can be here for as long as possible because it does help the school. And okay, Ray, you need to get in the picture. Okay, good. This is called the long and short of it, right?
That's right.
Okay. So Ray has been, I think, very good and helpful for the school because of our Navy SEALs learn one, do one, teach one. Much of the time, Ray was on the learn one part, right?
That's right. That's right.
And even on Saturday, I was told by, who was that, Phyllis, last Saturday at Hero School, when you just had to enter your information into the form.
Yeah, you screwed up the whole computer.
Okay. Instead of entering the information, you hit the edit form button. So, Ray has had a very good career in the casino industry for a long time. What other things can I say good about Ray? He was never a problem here. Probably the best thing is Ray is Italian. And so for our La Voce project, the what?
No, that's clear.
Okay. So for the La Voce project, which is the Italian-American magazine, it helps having Italians involved. And last night, as our people here know, but again, for posterity, we had a great dinner with the Maloof brothers because this week's issue of La Voce has to do with bringing an NHL hockey team to Las Vegas, which will be the first time in the history of the universe that there will be a major league sports team. And at the end of the dinner, when we were talking about things, Gavin Maloof said, you know what, you don't really have a real city unless you have your own team. And this is an opportunity for Las Vegas to have its own team. So, and the magazine that the school produced that had the hockey on the cover, Joe Maloof said to one of his guys, make sure that the commissioner of the NHL gets a copy of that magazine because it's important. So Ray, being Italian, is important because we're hoping to get the name of the team, the Las Vegas Paisanos. And Joe Maloof thought that was an interesting idea too, but it's coming to a vote. So if La Voce does its job and we get everybody to vote, who knows? It could be the Las Vegas Paisanos. So Ray, thank you very much for being here. You made the school better. You made it better for me as a teaching experience or helping people learn experience. And so would you like to give any advice to people? Now you're the instructor.
Well, I thank God for the 16 weeks that I was here at Larson. I really enjoyed it. I did learn some things on the computer and the internet that I didn't know before I got here. So I want to thank everybody that helped me. It was really great. There's a lot of good people here, and thanks for having me.
Thank you, Ray. So you're going to be sticking around, right? Okay, William.
Hendrix.
Okay, so William, if we had an award for most improved, see this, I apologize, it could be the president, so I have to answer. Hello, this is Ed. Hi. Hi, Angela.
Or FaceTime.
Okay, so you see Jim D'Onofrio's property. It's on the even side of the street. With the opposite side of the street. You see the new big building going up? Okay, so that's Jim's. We're right across that. We're actually 727. And yeah. Yeah, so we're in there. I'm just waiting. We're having a graduation right now, which you're welcome to attend. But the downtown project people are going to meet us. So how about just heading all the way through to T7, to unit number T7. if you walk through that place called the Learning Village, there's a bunch of those mobile trailers. T7's all the way in the back on the left. Okay? Yeah, come on down. Good. See you soon. Bye. Well, that was the president. That was the president of the Italian American Club. So he might say something about last night and thank the school. Is the heat still on? It just got really hot for a second. So if we had somebody who was the most improved, if we had an award for the most improved, it would definitely go to William. And for only the few people who were here when William started, that would have a significant amount of meaning. But for most of the people, what you see is the polished, confident, now employed, articulate William. But that's a different person than when he started.
Very much so.
And so, William has made the school better because it really shows that, it's where the rubber meets the road. It's, for our school, it's when you have somebody and you start with somebody who's not young as most of the people. In fact, you might get the award for the oldest also.
Really?
All right.
Maybe.
Can't tell.
I just want to
I
know.
got warrants.
So, for the school to be able to say, when somebody is motivated, this is how much things can change. That we take undeserved credit for, because we try to get people to be autodidactic, and William did that. He started with extreme, not fear, but reluctance to get up in front of the world and do his poetry recitals every week. And now we've come to this place. And so I'm going to turn it over to you, William. Thank you.
Thank you. Better get that. It's for you.
Hi. Well, we're not really right.
Those who haven't got to this point, you will. My bulb
Well,
didn't come on till week 10.
we haven't heard from them. Yeah.
I'm being honest with you. I didn't get this.
So how about if I call you?
But after week 10,
If the thing's on, that might not show up because of the rain.
it just started coming to me. I want to thank Norman Parrish for bringing me up here.
Let me tell you about that.
I appreciate it. The rest of you, we're starting something that all of us won't finish, but those who do, you'll be a better person.
Thank you, Eddie. So we'll just turn the camera around.
I need a Kit Kat.
Okay. Thank you again, William. So now we're down to our last graduate. And, we're down to our second to last graduate. Kevin, I apologize. Come on up. So that was my error.
Accidentally crossed me off.
So Kevin is another one of the veterans that we had here. One of the things I remember most when you say, what do you remember about Kevin? What I remember most about Kevin is when he would come to do the weekly recital, even though I don't think you memorized more than 2, right?
Yeah.
But Kevin, I think everybody agrees, had a very good reading voice.
Absolutely.
And the rhythm and how you recited things, even as you were reading them, and maybe you hadn't practiced them, or maybe you had practiced reading them. How you did that was, it made it look good. So I had comments from people who watched the YouTube videos, like the courts, Judge Kearns, of,
Okay.
hey, that guy can speak. So we are appreciative for you for being here. You asked good questions, you participated, you made the school a better place, and thank you, Kevin.
All right. Hey, thank you. Let's see. I'm a homeless veteran. I at the Bonanza View office, and that's where I met you, and you motivated me to come here. And I, in my wildest dreams, I never thought I would be here, an adult educational school, especially at my age. But it was nice. It's incredible. Learned a number of different things, particularly computer skills. That's why I want to go on to some additional schooling in the field of cyber warfare. I want to be one of those people that defends the cloud against the bad guys. So that's what I hope. That's what I really enjoy getting out of this. So what else? What else I liked about the school? The speakers when they came in were very nice. I hope you get to invite a few of them back, such as Dr. Steve Rudek.
Okay.
If I pronounced his
He'll be
name
back.
right. Class was very impressed with what he had to say.
Yep.
So that's why I hope to keep coming back occasionally to see you, attend some of the classes. I think in closing, I want to give a shout out to George Dunkhurst III. Yes, pronounce his name right. What do we say about George? You wouldn't believe it to look at him, that he is a GED instructor, and he's very good, especially when he's on a roll. What I like, I think you all agree, George, he has the ability to, how I say it, take something old and learn something new.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. And that's just the sort of thing we hope to get out of this school, especially him. That guy is very good.
We'll make sure he continues to come.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
So that's it.
Good. Thank
Thank
you
you.
again, Kevin. Thank you. Okay, take two. If we had a student who got an award, well, actually, he will be getting an award for memorizing all of the assignments. And, well, it would be our next graduate. And we share something more in common besides being able to memorize the poetry. We're both from Oakland, right?
Yes, sir.
And I think you know where I live on Seneca.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So Odie is also from Oakland, California. And so sort of like Ray is my Italian kin, Odie is my Oakland, where I was born, where I grew up, kin. So Odie came in and, what do you say about Odie? You can't really tell because he's wearing sunglasses all the time, right? But Odie would always participate, was doing his work. We had Saphira come in and doing her paper, not having access to the library. Odie said, no problem. The next day there was some large number of books.
Yes, sir.
For Saphira. I always say and believe that the second most important thing, or maybe it's the first most important thing here, is the ability to memorize things. And our people, for the most part, did a very, very good job of being able to memorize things. And when this time comes around next year, and some people might come back, I think you will say, like other people have who've been through here, the ability to remember what you learn is essential. And the exercises that we do, the weekly memorization, there's few things better than that to help you remember. But more than that, more than just being able to remember, more than that, the ability to remember things in such a way that every week, everybody is going to look forward to that person getting up and doing the recital is huge to get everybody to play the game. And trust me, last year when we started doing this, nobody wanted to play the game. Nobody wanted to do the memorization. And so we had to use well, here's your choice. You do this or you're not here. And most people decide they would rather be here than not do the memorization, but it wasn't easy. And now, because of people like Odie, William improvising things, what we have is our Friday recitation thing is fun, enjoyable, and it's becoming very popular in the Middle East. So Odie always did a good job of being prepared, doing his work, having the memorization stuff, and last week got up to one of the probably the longest one, Mark Antony's speech, and did it extremely well. And I think if we said how you improved from over 16 weeks, you started well, but to get up to memorizing almost 1,000 words of Mark Antony's speech is a real accomplishment. And so, in that, if there was one thing, if you said, what is the one thing that Odie did to really contribute to the school, it was to help make what I think is the most important part, the ability to remember something that inspired other people to do it, at least to not say, no, I don't want to do it. People got up and people enjoyed it. And then comments I have from people, and 2 weeks ago when the Clark County School District adult people, education people were in here, and they saw what would you do 2 weeks ago was
St. Crispin's
speech. When they saw that, another Shakespeare one, St. Crispin's Day speech from Henry V, they were blown away because they don't do that in adult education, at CCSD adult education. They don't have people reading Shakespeare, let alone memorizing Shakespeare. They don't have people getting up in front of the world and resisting the urge to pass out.
Yeah.
Right?
I sure did.
They don't have people doing that. Mm-hmm. And so, one thing we all have to be proud of, is that, these are the things we do that other people don't do. And when you do the things that other people don't do, the good things, when you do the good things that other people don't do, it makes you a better person. And, ultimately, fundamentally, our belief is if you do the right thing and you do it well and you can be counted on and you exceed expectations, then no matter what, ultimately, as Norm said, if you just keep doing it, ultimately, it's going to work out. So, Odie, thank you very much for being here. Thank you. And so, as I said, Odie is going to be getting the Saul Gonzalez Israel Oyervides Memorization Award. So the president is here, everyone. So I'm going to turn it over to Odie, but I want to acknowledge the president who came up with the name of the Las Vegas hockey team. Okay, Odie.
Well, this week, today, I'm going to say my name without my glasses so everybody can see in the world who I am behind the shades. My name is Mfalme Damu Moja Odie. Mfalme mean king, Damu mean blood, and Moja mean one. The summary of the meaning of my name is the King of Kings who shed his blood for one people. And I would like to thank three people. Sherry, because she had so much class, showed so much class throughout all this or whatever. I don't know how she did it, but I like to give her a lot of respect for showing so much class. She's not over there, but that's one person who I would like to give a lot of thanks to. And I would like to give thanks to Phyllis. When I first got here, I was a little confused or not sure how to do things, but when I sat by her, she taught me a whole lot. And I ain't trying to cry, but she helped me out a whole lot. You know what I mean? And she put me to another level because I knew how to work computers, but I didn't know the documents and typing and all this. But the little situations she put me in and helped me out with, I'd like to give you a big thank you. So, yeah. And now,
That's nice.
the director.
Hmm.
When I first got here, first couple of weeks, I'm gonna be real with you. I didn't like the director because I thought he was play mind games. I don't like people that play mind games. I just like to be straightforward and tell me what to do when I got to do it. But the more I talk to other people, other students, I learned that that was his way of weeding out the weakness in people. And I became so much stronger in learning how to do things and listen to him, but not react to him. And so, you know, I give him a big respect because as in the military, he reminded me of a general who was an asshole. He did it his way. I'm not saying the director is an asshole, but the general, yeah. But I'm just saying, no, it was either his way and there is no highway. So it just got to do it his way. And if you understand that, you will come out a better, much person. Yeah.
Okay.
And so, you know, yeah, and I would like to give him a real big thank you for that. So, you know, thank you, Director, for showing me that. And I'm going to talk about the school. The school, I'm glad I came. I'm really glad I came because my thing is I was trying to start my own company, but I was going from A to E, H, and doing stuff by trial and error. And learning things at this school, it put me into a totally different perspective of what I can achieve and what I can't. It kind of gave, it didn't kind of give, but it gave me back my momentum of running with my company. And so being here every day let me know that I can work at my company every day and achieve what I'm trying to do. Yeah, it's a startup. It's an e-commerce. It's anything.com. You spell it ENYTHENG.com. And yeah. And so, you know, I would give him a lot of respect because, or the school as a whole, because it took me to another level. And the much people that I see around here trying to achieve one thing, it let me know that I can achieve something. And getting this award or graduating, all the above, I can't explain how much it's making me feel more than anything. It let me know that I can achieve something. And so, you know, and last but not least, I'll let y'all go. Today is my grandmother. So this is like a special 2-day, a special double day for me because my grandmother's birthday is today and she turned 83. So I like to say, I love you, grandmother. Miss Cosette Lewis out in Oakland, California. So, you know, I thank you.
Great.
Yeah, I have a good one.
Thank you. Well, unintended, I thought this was going to be over 15 minutes ago, but unintended, we have a special guest who didn't know he was going to be here for this that I would like to introduce. Where's a copy of the
Right here. Here you go. Director.
Okay. So, so Angela, would you mind coming up? So just so you know, this is live on YouTube for the whole world. Okay. So this is a preliminary.
Hello, YouTube. Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Students.
This is a preliminary to In Vino Veritas. So these are the students here who helped put this together, that are distributing it, that do Ciao Tutti, that will be working on In Vino Veritas. So last night, as I said to everybody, we had a great dinner with the Maloofs at the Italian American Club. How did you think that went?
It went fabulous. And, you know, before we even talk about last night's dinner, I've heard so much about the operation over here. And I know Ed personally for quite a long time, and I see all the good things he does over here. And through his efforts and helping and teaching and you being able to give to us, a lot of these accomplishments come, and we thank you for that as well. And so for Ed and the last student that was up here, you know, I give him a lot of credit. I know he puts a lot of time in it, and this comes from his heart. You got a really smart guy over here that wants to lead and help teach the fundamentals and all the other things that he has been able to accomplish. And because of that as well, it helps some of these nonprofit things that we're doing. And this particular magazine And as a result of the owners of the hockey team, the National Hockey League that we met with last night, they were just totally blown away by it. They sent it out last night. They sent it out to the commissioner of the National Hockey League and everything that's going on over there. And a lot of the work that you people did over here is, we thank you for that.
Thank you. Now, who is working on In Vino Veritas? Okay, so this is the In Vino Veritas team, and Keith over there. They're from southern Italy, most of them.
Okay.
So, anyway, Angelo is the president of the Italian American Club. Has been in Las Vegas for 35 years from Buffalo, New York. Hockey fan.
Sabres.
I liked Maluk's comment when you were talking to Tony about this guy, that guy in the crease. And Joe said, I don't know if you heard him. Joe said, "We've got a lot to learn about hockey."
Yeah, they do. Just a little point of information: the people that he's talking about, they own the Sacramento Kings, and they own the NBA basketball team that they. And it's public record. They sold it for $580 million. So they're people that built the Palms Hotel Casino, and they're doers and they're shakers and they're young and brilliant and yet low key, laid back, fun people. And their vision to bring National Hockey League to Las Vegas, which is big time major stuff, it's their ability to be able to put things together and deal with the National Hockey League and deal with the MGM and put leases together. And for people from Las Vegas, the community, this is something that we can be proud of because we're going to be calling it Las Vegas Our Team, so it was really great.
Yeah. So we had a excellent dinner, a lot of fun. We talked a little bit about In Vino Veritas. And what did you think of them as the first guests?
They're all in. They're all in because they're characters, they're just, they're like street people. I mean, they're sharp. They obviously put together major deals. I said it's public record, but when they were selling their basketball team, the commissioner of basketball said that we could probably get you about $350 million for it. And they said, no, I think you're way off. They ultimately, a few months later, sold it for $580 million. So they know a little bit of thing about business and about organizing, and yet they're just really cool, down-to-earth people. So I think they'd be fabulous guests because they've got stories and they have charisma.
What about Tony?
Oh, Tony is he's the Italian guy. So so he was our nucleus last night, and we had a lot of fun. But he goes back 20 years with the commissioner of hockey, Gary Beckman, and he was the one that really helped initiate putting these two people together. And he's very proud of his heritage. They all joined the Italian American Club as lifetime members last night too, which is great. They promised scholarships to young people to promote hockey. They promised to build hockey rinks for youth and buy equipment and stuff like this so they can expand it and teach it all the way in Utah and different states and everything, just to grow the sport. And some people out west weren't quite as familiar until Wayne Gretzky came to Los Angeles, but Midwest, back east, Canada, certainly hockey was big, but it's huge now all over the place. And of course, big screen TVs, high definition means people that never watched the game before on TV can follow it and learn it. But Ed's comment last night is a couple of us guys that are hockey fans, we were talking about, past players, current players, certain positions and stuff like this, which is interesting. And the two owners of the team, they didn't know that much about it, but they know how to put things together. So that's the point.
Yeah. Okay, well, everybody, thank you again for the graduates. And so now this will be on YouTube for posterity.
Continued success, everybody. Continued success.
Hey, I like it.